Okay, guess what? In the middle of trying to video these segments, I actually ran out of storage data, so I had to switch phones. So here is the mushroom onion mixture cooking down nicely. And now we want to just add, I want to add that lemon juice and zest. Give it a stir. That smells so good. Yum, 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 yum. I had already seasoned it with a little bit of salt and cracked black pepper, so I'm going to go with the stock. And I actually want that to kind of cook and reduce, so that's going to take another 20 to 30 minutes. So it's a process, a few steps. It's not a 10-minute meal from start to finish, but it's worth it. So we'll let that keep going and come back to that. And then we're going to finish with the white wine and the cream. Actually, I'm going to add the white wine now because I do want that to reduce with that. And then we're going to puree it all up, season the salt to taste, and see how it's finished. And I keep saying cream because it's normally cream. I'm doing half and half today, so that's going to have to cook and reduce a little bit too. Reducing nicely, flavors coming together, but not there yet. We want to reduce it by at least half, not till it's dry, but at least half. Okay, reduced nicely by half at least. I tasted it. Seasoning along the way already helped the flavor from the chicken stock, the broth. Remember, that gives it some flavor and some salt, so make sure you taste along the way. You can always add, but you can't take away. Now, after I add the half and half, that's going to cream masks flavors, so you have to re-season it again. So when I add the half and half, I will have to re-season towards the end. So I'm going to stir that in. I turn this the power off on here because it is noisy. But I also kind of don't need it anymore at this point. So what I did want to show you is the blending process. So this tool here, I'll do that. See if I can zoom out. You can see there. It's an immersion blender. And it's a very powerful tool. So what you want to do when you use an immersion blender, you want to have it all the way down in what you're doing. You don't want to lift it up because then it'll just shoot everything everywhere. But it's going to create a suction and kind of suck it in. So especially with this one, this is pretty. This one has a pretty strong motor. So what I want to do is I'm going to do it on low. Okay, maybe not. Let me pause. Let me figure out what's going on here. Okay, this one has a little lock feature. It's like a safety on a gun. So now I'm going to go low and just start pureeing. So actually this is because I have a shallow amount of food. You see it? I'm actually going to go high. A shallow, I have a little amount of soup here in a shallow pot, so it's making it a little bit harder. So what I would do is switch this to a different pot. Or this is such as, I'm usually cooking in a bigger batch, so this is a small batch. This would be really good to put in your food processor and pulse or in a blender. So you can see how it's pureeing down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause and not make you watch me do that, and then do it some more into a bowl or a different container and come back to that. All right, so I've got it going here. And this actually, it takes some time. I don't know if you can see that. But you want to puree it really smooth. So if the blender is your thing, definitely use the blender for a small batch like this. Okay, so that's what you have once it's all pureed, nice and thick, and you can control the consistency of your soup however you like it. Usually for me, for the winter time, fall, I like the thickness and the velvety smoothness of a soup. It just kind of makes you feel all warm and fuzzy, and it feels better. Mouth feel sometimes, but if you think that's too thick for you, then you go ahead and you adjust that consistency with some more stock or broth. Just remember to reseason. So there is your creamy mushroom soup, and then you can use some mushrooms to garnish, or parsley, or whatever you like, or just have it just as is. So soup one down.